Ms. Marvel has been a big step forward in amplifying the diverse voices in both the MCU fan community and in the Marvel comics. Kamala Khan is a fan favorite already, with her awkward quirks and earnestness. And this is exactly what viewers saw in the finale clip posted by Disney+ on social media, where Kamala's big announcement is seen being spoiled. Confused? Let us elaborate. First off, we're sure you're wondering where we left off with Ms. Marvel and how the story progressed. First things first, before getting into the fun moment, let's take a moment to talk about the pure insanity that was episode 5 of this weirdly fantastical series. Let's figure out how we came to the big announcement itself. We saw Najma, a full-fledged clandestine antagonist up till this point, determinedly sacrifice herself and bestow her Nur upon her son, Cameron. So now, he has superpowers too, we suppose. But the big surprise last episode was the flashback story of Kamala's great-grandparents, Aisha and Hassan. From this flashback sequence, we learn the true origin of the story about the Trail of Stars and how Kamala's grandmother was actually saved during the partition. Hint, it's Kamala herself using weird closed time loop magic. While we definitely don't have the time to get into the logistics of it all, and we're sure there are videos and articles that could explain the phenomenon much better, let's get into the crux of the matter. What led to Ms. Marvel's big announcement when Kamala comes back to the present after saving Sana? She watches the veil between the realms take the clandestines one by one. In true Ms. Marvel fashion, one thing leads to another, and Muniba and Sana, in their concern, manage to find Kamala in the midst of her doing her light magic. Unfortunately though, this means that Muniba learns of Kamala's secret identity, up until this point known as Nightlight. On the flip side, however, Muniba finally believes her mother's story about the stars and all the fantastical tales she's told. She's very accepting of her daughter and even embraces her. She apologizes to Sana. Kamala gives her grandmother a picture of her parents from the past, the red dagger offers to keep Kamala, etc. Let's talk about the finale teaser now. Now what did Disney+ post? Well, as it turns out, a mere day before the season finale's release on the streaming service, Disney+ posted a seemingly harmless teaser trailer. The clip, posted on Disney+'s social media with the caption, "Classic Khan Gossip Train, don't miss the finale of Marvel Studios' Ms. Marvel streaming tomorrow on Disney+," also contained a clip that made fans chuckle with how relatable it seemed. While we're used to grand revelations of superheroism in the MCU, such as Tony Stark's iconic "I am Iron Man" moment way back in 2008, or Peter Parker's multiple dramatic identity reveals, to the point where a whole movie had to be made centered around the crisis of his identity being unveiled. Point is, most of the time, secret superhero identities are a big deal in the MCU, but one could argue that since Kamala's superpower, in part, lies in her tragic family history, and her genes are what she draws her photon-based power from, they'll be a big part of her heroic journey. And that rings true if you've seen the finale. But while we're back on the subject of the clip, let's talk about how the big announcement was spoiled. In the small scene we were able to witness in the post, we see Kamala around her family, gearing up for a big announcement, very possibly regarding her secret identity. Her father, mother, brother, and sister-in-law ate all sitting in the living room we saw back in episode 1 as Kamala asks for their attention. She starts out by apologizing for the various mildly concerning things she's done since the beginning of the show, like sneaking to Avenger Con and for ruining her brother's wedding, etc. When she reveals that she is indeed Nightlight, everyone acts like they're very obviously shocked, which results in a hilarious scene. What does the screen spoiler imply? After Kamala finds out that everyone already knows about her having superpowers, she looks at her mother in an accusatory fashion, to which she replies with a long-winded explanation of how everyone else found out. Now we're sure Kamala herself may not have enjoyed her big announcement being spoiled by her very tight-knit family unit, but we certainly did find it hilarious. The scene is a very big part of how Kamala's journey as a brown Muslim superhero differs from the many white, Eurocentric superheroes of the MCU, where many families grow apart from their superhero children after the big revelation, on the ground that their child has grown up and is ready to handle the world's trials on their own. Kamala's family determinedly sticks by her. They don't coddle her, but still remain a big part of how Kamala is able to execute all that she does in the show and possibly after. The last episode is directed by Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, who directed episode 1. So, a lot of that fun animation and quick Edgar Wright-style editing can be seen in the finale, as Vellani herself predicted in a recent interview. The show has been very cautious in its representation of South Indians, specifically Pakistanis, and that may have something to do with just how many people calling the shots on this show are from Pakistan themselves. Let's move on to other related news. The end credit scene. Wow. Now let's discuss the insane end credit scene from Ms. Marvel episode 6, aka the season finale of the show. Now of course, there were small hints and some very huge poster-sized hints planted in the show for that very specific Ms. Marvel end credit scene, and yet most of us did not see it coming. Now, there was always talk of Iman Vellani returning as Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel, in the MCU The Marvels, as in, it was universally accepted fact. Vellani herself claims that she has no idea where this role may take her, but she's not going to worry about it and just head head-on, because that's apparently how she landed the role of Kamala. And if you see any of Vellani's interviews outside the show, you can easily tell why she's a perfect Kamala Khan. Her geekiness regarding the MCU, both the movies and the Marvel comics, is astounding, and very much comparable to the comic version of her character. Anyway, the show also showcased her geekiness, specifically regarding Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson in the MCU, accurately as it is in the comics. Now, we may all have experienced a Captain Marvel cameo in the Marvels or something, but watching that end credit scene was astounding. If you don't already know what the end credit scene was, we only have one question left to ask you. Have you been living under a rock? The sheer irony and nerd-level secondhand embarrassment of seeing the actual Captain Marvel land in Kamala Khan's bedroom, which is more a shine to her than anything else, was interesting on so many levels. The implications of this scene, not just in Kamala's life, but in the whole of the MCU, are huge. So far, Captain Marvel, or Carol Danvers, has been this elusive, overpowered being who occasionally drops by to save planet Earth from giant purple titans, all before taking off again to save other planets and beings. But seeing her goddaughter Monica Rambeau get superpowers in WandaVision, and now Miss Marvel, we're sure to be seeing more of her in upcoming MCU projects. And truth be told, we can't wait. The implications of the end credit scene. What might they mean? The thing about MCU Season 4 is that it's so big now that it can't be contained in a single cohesive storyline. This phase of the MCU is focused a lot on multiversal threats, like with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Loki, and Spider-Man No Way Home. So far, it seems to be a disconnected journey more than anything, with no clear and direct climax anywhere close by. This makes sense though, given just how large MCU has become, with its animated shows, cinematic movies, and shows it continues to pump out on Disney+. In the midst of all this chaos though, we can at the very least be certain of where our favorite, and only, Muslim superhero in the MCU is headed, and who she's headed there with. While the details may be confusing, we can be certain that the MCU holds a lot of power in the entertainment industry thus far. And let's be real, Kamala's journey has just begun, and we can't wait to see where it's headed. And that's all for this video. What did you think of the short clip on Disney+'s Twitter account? More importantly, what did you think of Miss Marvel? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to leave a like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications by pressing the bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.